This is Rostra, the St. Theodore Guerin Junior Classical League podcast, where we bring the lessons of classical study into the light for the benefit of all.
Well, welcome back to another episode of Rostra. I gotta say, this one is, it's fun and it's interesting because it's something that everybody can relate to. I can't wait to get into this one. We've got Jacob Dumas with us here today. Jacob, start off. What is this fun topic that everybody is going to relate to?
Roman bathrooms.
Roman bathrooms, exactly. And I think as you look at other cultures, one of the things that really helps bring stuff home is looking at the common stuff. You know, the things that we all share. We all eat. We all are born and die and take baths and go to the bathroom. And so those are the things that really connect us across cultures and across time. So first off, why this topic? Why did you pick this?
Well, I was looking through some of the options, and this one really struck out to me because it was not really like any of the other ones on the list, and it was kind of funny to me, and I got to be honest. I think you're right. I mean, it isn't like the other. Oh, Roman emperors. Oh, let's talk about the big Roman gods. Bathrooms, right? So it's the one that seems a little bit different, and come on, it is a little bit funny. Absolutely right. We've got to acknowledge that. So okay, so talk to us about Roman bathrooms. What do we know about this? So Roman bathrooms, they were started by the Romans, but they got the idea from the Greeks. And at first, they did not really have any interest in using them, but later soldiers really started to build them, and use them as they were fighting.
You're right,
as you could say.
Yeah, right. As they're out on campaign and fighting, obviously you've got to deal with the call of nature. So, yeah.
And then another thing that I really wanted to see, what were they made of and what did they look like? And all rooms had high ceilings, and they were colorful painted walls with mosaic floors. Right.
So the thing about mosaics, and this is something that, quite frankly, make another good episode for Rostra. The mosaics were these little colored tiles, and there's one of the bells. This is what happens when you're recording during the day. But mosaics are these little colored tiles that go together to make a picture, basically. So it's almost like a painting, but done with these little stones. And so, yes, you really colorful, very, very artistic, really. So yeah, keep going about that.
So many they were used for many ill people. They believed that if they were to swim in the waters of Solus Minerva,
right?
Roman baths were usually it's kind of hard to say. They would use, after they swim in that, they were usually had to go to the bathroom. I don't know. It's kind of,
well, you're right, and you're touching on a couple of things here, because it's interesting, I think, in the modern world, or at least especially in the modern American world, when we think about the bathroom, we typically think about the toilet facilities, yes, right? But if you even think about our own word, bathroom, it was also a place to cleanse yourself, right? We obviously, most of us, the bathroom where the toilet is, there's very often you got a sink, you've got a shower, there's a tub to take a bath in. And so the Romans had that as well, right? So there was that bathing facility and the notion of cleanliness, and also really bringing about some good health through that sort of cleanliness. So so you kind of had both aspects going on there. So what else did you find about anything about the construction of these places?
I really couldn't find a whole lot. One thing that I did find was that I thought was very interesting was how they had the mosaic tile floors, which isn't like we kind of still use those today. Or
we do.
We use tile in the bathroom today.
We really do use tile in the bathroom. Yeah, go to the local home center, going to do a bathroom renovation. If it doesn't already have tile in it, a lot of people like to put tile in today. So that one's lasted over 2,000 years for sure.
Yeah. Another thing.
Well, and as you're looking at your stuff there, I'm going to go ahead and say a little bit more about the mosaics themselves, because I don't know. I think a lot of us also decorate our bathrooms. We'll maybe hang up maybe a framed picture, or maybe on walls that don't have tile. We do a particular paint scheme. So we like that room to be bright. We like it to be inviting. I mean, it's a place, again, we're kind of being delicate about this, but we're all going to spend a lot of time in the bathroom,
yes,
right? For one reason or another, answering the call of nature, cleansing ourselves, and so you want it to be an attractive room. So really, we're drawing some of those ideas directly from the Romans. So what else you got for us?
Another thing like that I saw did men and women, like, were they both able to use it?
Yeah.
And from what I can see, I'm pretty sure they were both able to use it.
Absolutely.
And I just think that's kind of not weird, but I feel like women were almost not disrespected, but treated a different way. And maybe for the nicer Roman bathrooms, I feel like maybe women were not able to use, but it sounds like they were.
They were, and you usually did differentiate. I mean, you had different rooms, and especially in the public baths, which really were a lot like a modern-day gym or health club. So in addition to being able to get clean, there were also facilities to work out and exercise and so forth. And you did have a division by gender there, so an area for the women and an area for the men.
They were Roman. They were another interesting fact that I found is they were about 12 inches apart. So, where they did their business,
yeah,
they were 12 inches apart, which I would say is pretty close.
So now we're talking specifically about the toilet facilities, yeah, right? And so, yeah, I think, again, in the modern world, we want some privacy and we want some space, right? I mean, this is something that we really prize. And in the ancient world, there was just a lot more sense of, hey, you know what? Everybody's body functions the same way. What's the big deal? And so, yeah, you had these facilities where, as you say, you're taking care of business, answering the call of nature, that really were pretty close together. And so you might have multiple people fairly in close proximity with each other. So very different from us.
Yeah. Another thing that they talked about, though, is they were clothes that helped them with privacy, too.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So, I mean, they were very close together, but they also maybe had a little bit more privacy than we do today when we're...
Honestly, with the tunic, and again, we're going to keep this as PG-13 as we can, but, it's like a long, like a long T-shirt sort of a deal. So if you kind of pull that up, sit down, and then pull that kind of back down, you are covered somewhat. Yes. So it's not, just all out there in nature. So you did have that going on there. So. Yeah, so you've touched on both aspects there of really the cleanliness, the bathing part, and then also the toilet facilities there. Anything else you found that you think is particularly interesting or that you would want to share with us on this episode?
No, I think I got to all that I really wanted to.
So, I think what you've touched on is that honestly, the similarities are more than the differences. I mean, again, sitting a little bit close to each other, fair enough. But again, people are people, and we all have the same basic needs to clean ourselves, to take care of our bodies. and the Romans did have that facility, and so yeah, that was part of life, and it's part of our life as well. So, Jacob, thanks for being on the show, man. We appreciate it, and I think this is going to be a most interesting episode.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Rostra. You may check out all our episodes on Spotify and follow us on social media at GuerinJCL. That's at GuerinJCL.